Hey guys, so today is another vegan recipe and today's is going to be pasta puttanesca. Now, original non-vegan puttanesca is pretty close to being vegan anyway. Some people use anchovies and there is butter in the recipe, but if you substitute the butter for a vegan alternative and don't use anchovies, like a lot of people don't anyway, then it is already vegan. However, this is something that I've grown up with and a recipe that I've loved for so long, so I wanted to show you guys. It's also really simple and quite impressive if you are like having people over for dinner or something. So let's do this. Here's what you'll need for this delicious vegan puttanesca. First, we have a whole bunch of ripe fresh tomatoes. You can also use canned tomatoes, especially if fresh ones aren't in season. Fresh do tend to be a little bit sweeter though. Then we have, of course, spaghetti. Most dried spaghetti that you get from the store is vegan because the egg that is used in fresh pasta goes off, but do just double check that the ingredients are vegan on whatever brand of pasta you buy. Then we have a vegan butter substitute and some butter beans. The butter beans are an optional extra that you can use if you want to add some more protein or just a little bit extra in there. Kind of has a nice texture to it as well. A whole bunch of garlic and whole cloves. Then we have salt and pepper, capers and olives, and of course in pretty much every recipe I have olive oil. So that is all you're going to need to make this. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is peel the skin off your tomatoes, and to do this the easiest thing is to get a heat-proof glass bowl that is okay with boiling water in it. Put your tomatoes in with the skin on, obviously, and then pour some boiling water over them. Then you leave them for 5 minutes, and when you come back, your tomatoes should look like this. I don't know how well you can see this, but each tomato has a split around it in the skin, which will really help you when you're going to peel the skin off. So now what you're going to do is take them out using something that isn't your fingers, because remember that this is boiling water. So we're going to use this like tong thing. And then pop them in a separate bowl, just so you don't have to stick your fingers in boiling water, which is never a good idea. Then we're just going to peel off all the skin and they'll be ready to go. Now you should have a bowl of peeled tomatoes that looks something like this. Of course, if you're using canned tomatoes, don't worry about this step, obviously. Next, we're just going to cut them into quarters and then they're all ready to go in the pasta sauce. Next, you're going to peel your garlic cloves. So here we have a whole bunch, and all you're going to do to them is just take off the skin. So now, in your pan for the sauce, put in the vegan butter substitute. And that's about a tablespoon of that, and then a good amount of olive oil. This recipe does require a decent amount of oil, so be aware of that if you're vegan for like health conscious reasons. Okay, so now we're just going to heat this up slowly. When your oil is nice and hot, you can start putting in your first ingredients. So the first thing we're going to put in are our quartered tomatoes and our peeled garlic. Like so, and in with this goes some capers. You can pretty much do the capers and olives to taste as you like it. I really like capers, so there's those. So once all these ingredients are in together, mix them around a little bit just to get them all combined, and then you're going to cook this with a lid for about 10 minutes. You can cook it longer if you like, but 10 minutes minimum. While your first ingredients are simmering away nicely, you can prepare your olives. You don't have to cut them up, but we cut ours up just to make the ingredients a similar size. And then also, if you're using any kind of pre-cooked beans, we're using butter beans as I mentioned earlier, make sure to drain them because you don't want to put any extra liquid in the sauce. Okay, so when you're ready for the next step, your tomato, caper, and olive oil and garlic mixture should look something like this. Then you just want to mash it a tiny bit with the back of a fork or something comparable, just to get rid of some of the bigger lumps of tomato. And now we're ready to add the last ingredients, which are of course your butter beans or other beans if you're using them, and your olives. Okay, now all your ingredients are in, it's time to start up your pasta, and by the time your pasta is finished cooking, your sauce will be ready. The other thing is, I know I put salt and pepper in the initial ingredients, so at this point, taste your sauce and see if you feel like you need any extra salt or pepper. I don't really like black pepper that much, so I'm not putting any in, and I also used a lot of capers, so there's no need for any extra salt. Okay, let's put on this pasta. When your pasta is done, pour it into the saucepan and mix it all together, and here is your pasta puttanesca ready to go. We garnished it with some fresh basil leaves, but obviously this is completely optional. And yeah, delicious pasta puttanesca. As always, if you try this recipe, please let me know how you get along. This is one of my favorites from childhood. It's absolutely delicious, at least in my opinion. And I hope that you guys enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace!